My name is Loreta Rafisura, and I am the president of Salayhandmade paper industries in Salay, Misamis Oriental, Philippines. I am also the president of Salayhandmade paper industries foundation. I actually was born and raised in the town of Salay, which is a coastal town in Mindanao with a population of about 20,000 people. I have lived here actually all my life. Since I was a kid, I always wanted to serve my people, serve the Lord through serving my people. And that's why I took up nursing. My experience as a nurse, it spans years. Like I graduated in 1964 from the St. Paul's College of Manila. Immediately after that, I worked as a staff nurse at the Manila Doctors Hospital in Manila. And then I went to the United States under the Exchange Visitors Program and worked for 1 year in Philadelphia at Temple University and for 1 year at the Columbus Hospital in Chicago. The highlight was really my 2-year stint in the United States where my eyes were open to the whole world, and I had such great experiences meeting people of different cultures. I saw how the first world people lived, and I came home and saw my people, and we are so poor and there's so much to do. And so I thought, I'm not going to stay in the United States at all because people in the United States have everything, and I can come back to my town and serve any way I could. And I came back home and I got married to Dr. Rafisura. And I served in the family planning clinic, and I served with my husband in the grassroots in the rural area. But through all this, I think we had so much experience in working in the community to serve the people in the grassroots. And in about 1980, when the children were small, we were married about 10 years, the NPA, or the New People's Army rebels, were very strong. And they were quite strong in our town because our town was a hotbed. I don't know, our people, I think, perceived so much of poverty and so much something the government was lacking in giving service and all of those things. And there were people asking them to go to the mountains to rebel against the government and try to change things. And so many of our people went there. As a result, the government was also fighting with the NPAs. And so in the mountains, there was a little thing like a revolution. And as a doctor and nurse team, we were very involved because when there were emergencies and there were killings, they would come to my husband, and I was the nurse, and I would see them, and it was really very difficult. I love my people, and even if we are poor, I know that we never beg for food. But this time, during the rebellion time, people were starting to come to houses begging for food, and it really touched our heart. We thought we would do anything to help, but we don't want to give, just give. And so when the government, the Department of Trade and Industry, sent some of their officials to come to us and to ask us if we could help by forming an association like the People's Economic Council so that we could study our community, see what our problem is, and see what we could do. We jumped at that opportunity. And so I took all my time trying to look for something to do. And so we found the livelihood, how one could make paper from grass. And of course, we had so much grass in our town. You know, handmade paper is a virgin industry in the Philippines, while it is 2,000 years old in China. We were given a 3-day seminar to learn about it, and from there we innovated. Basically, when you make paper, all you have to do is to have a raw material that would have, what do you call this, long fibers, and then you sort of remove the lignin and the pectin, you know, the things that are not needed there, the green ones, the slimy ones, the cellulose there. And then you boil it for 4 hours. And then you macerate it, and then you blend it, and then after that you put some kind of starch to bind it together, and after that then you mix it with water. And you do your sheet formation. And after that, you press the paper, you roll it, and you dry it under the sun, or you can dry it with steam, which is much better. But the thing with us is when we were doing handmade paper and we were trying to sell it, is that nobody would buy handmade paper as is, especially that expensive kind of paper. So we had to do something to convert it into something else. And we thought, well, I had a sister who was a teacher, and she introduced me to pressed flower designs on handmade paper. And so we looked around us because that was the only resource we had in our community, flowers and leaves and weeds and raw materials and all that. And so we started to look around and pick things from our garden. And that's how we came to do pressed flower designs. Later we found out nobody could afford the paper because it was so expensive, because we had to, the first day we were able to make only 8 pieces of paper in one day. And so it was very labor intensive. And so later on we found out that the only ones who could afford our products were foreigners and those who were in the rich and the upper level of society, the artists and the environmentalists. And we found out that it wasn't very easy to keep the standards of fair trade faithfully and still exist as a very viable business company. But of course, we tried everything. We are so happy working with fair traders, among them, of course, 10,000 villages, because they did respect us and they took our work and just added what was fitted to their culture and to their market. And of course, like all fair traders, they were very kind to us. I work with AFTI, the Association of Fair Trade Partners in the Philippines, and I always tell them that I think the way for a small craft group is to really join fair trade, because in fair trade, they are kinder and they help us in our capabilities so that we are able to grow. And that is really great because we take responsibility for our own lives. So how do I define fair trade? To me, it's just keeping the standards of just relationship between the workers and the one who's given the job in the Christian way, which is capsulized, I think, in just one sentence. Love yourself, love God above all things, and love your neighbor as yourself. And with that principle, fair trade, I think, is that in a capsule, and that's what we are trying to do. So our original plan was really to give livelihood to our people. And of course, so we started with this. And then later on, of course, we wanted to give identity to our town, and we wanted to develop our people with all the values that we could get from making paper, which, there's so many we could get from it. My management is management by heart. When you become a worker of SHAPII, you are part of us, and we take care of you like you are me, like you're my daughter or my son. We have so many programs in SHAPII that we do when we see the need among our workers. So in the past 20 years, we had a toilet audit so that everyone should have a toilet, and we help them. We had electricity. We have the dental project, so I see my workers and they smile, beautiful smiles, and many of them don't have enough teeth. So we have the dental project. We have the optometric clinic. It's free. These are all free. We have the medical clinics. We have family welfare program within our company where we provide responsible parenting program. Now we are forming an anti-diabetic club. We have a little or maybe a big problem by sending our children to school. And so a SHAPII Foundation was formed to focus on the educational needs of poor but bright students. And we call this Alay sa Bata. It's an offering for the child. It's a very small program of helping in a three-pronged way, like the government provides free tuition, the parents provides the support in the house, in the food and all these things, and nurturing, and SHAPII Foundation helps in the other things that a student spend on while going on to school. We dreamt about sending 4 to support them to school, but now, after about 7 years, we have 31 scholars, and 7 of them had graduated from college, and now we are having 4 graduating. That makes 11 now. It has grown on its own. And we noticed that we don't have enough library here, and the scholars need to hone their talents on reading and comprehension, English, and all of those things. And we formed our small reading library for the community. It's free. And then we started in SHAPII not having any computer. And then later on, we sent 2 staff to go to the city to learn how to do computer skills. And they in turn trained all of us. Now, I would say 200 of us are doing computer work. The business is run by computers. And then we thought we could extend this to community. And so we now have a computer laboratory with a 33-hour program on Windows and Excel. We are doing so many things that I'm beginning to wonder, and many are wondering, why are we doing this? I think it's because we are after the holistic development of the Filipino. And SHAPII, whether it's through the foundation or through the business, we are doing everything we can when there is a need for it in the small way that we can. I shouldn't say that I've done this all by myself. No, because so many people have really helped. And we gave them results, and that is the greatest thing, I think. Sometimes I think back at our origin 21 years back and now, and look at, we started with 6,000 pesos, and now we have all these things and all these people. We started with 10 people, and now there are about 276, and one time there were 400 of us working. In the Philippines, the number of people that are affected by the employment of one person is about 6, so that we were very happy to realize that if we were employing 450 people, that would be about 2,000 people or more or less that are affected economically. And with a population of 20,000, we were really affecting about 10% of our town's population. And I was wondering, how were we able to do this with we are so naive, we're so simple, we are in the rural area. So we were able to do it despite all these things. And I think it's because we have always had the dictum of, yes, the Filipino can. And we have lived that to the fullest. Simple people meeting challenge after challenge every day, not even thinking of our liabilities and all our imperfections, just going for what we wanted to help in the community and thinking, yes, we can do it, yes, the Filipino can. I think that did it, and we are able to survive up to now. I hope you can feel it in our paper. All the love and all the aspirations that we put into our products. It's really us that you have with you when you buy the work of Salay. It's our love going to you, and we really hope you enjoy them. In 5 years from now, we are going to be a strong, good enterprise, a potent factor in the development of the Filipino people. It's a long story that is filled with miracles every day. It's a beautiful story that I'm so happy to be part of.